In this episode of Bear Podcast,
Men can have babies. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies.
Dallas police responds to anti-gay hate crime.
Elio, a three-wheeler, 84 mile per gallon car available next year.
Phuc Dat Bich.
And two guys having sex with the auto blow too.
All these and more coming up next.
BearPodcast 592. Bigger than the earth, floating through space.
Kind of concerns many of us, even gay people.
He used to be cute, but that bitch she needs to be slapped.
Strip Cards Against Humanity.
And it's Sunday night. Did you do the sing-along with Sound of Music?
One of them is gay and the other is straight.
I'm so gay.
Apparently he became gay.
It might be a source of sexually positive pleasure.
We worked on it. We had pleasure. That's great.
Is how it's done.
Welcome everyone to Bear Podcast. I am Nard.
And I am Catfish.
Really? We're going to bring that up?
We're going to bring that up.
We're going to bring that up? Okay.
We're going to bring that up. So.
We just had a conversation about that during dinner tonight while we were at the
I think we brought it up a couple weeks ago about people catfishing. So anyway, so what'd you do this weekend, Nard?
Well, I've been watching The Person of Interest. I started watching it, and actually I finished watching Longmire. And then my friend Matt suggested to me to watch, okay, next you need to watch Person of Interest. And I was watching it. It's really intriguing each time. I mean, it's really good.
I noticed when the straight friend tells you to watch stuff, you'll watch it. But when the gay friend tells you to watch stuff like Jessica Jones or The Following, nah.
I'll get there. I'll get there soon.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, I do. I watch a lot of stuff with you too, like Walking Dead. Supergirl. It's on tonight, right? Monday night, right?
Supergirl's, I think. I don't know. Something's recording.
Someone's recording.
I think Gotham's on tonight, but I'm about ready to drop that show, I think.
Oh, really? Because you're not liking it?
Well, I like it. It's just I'm watching too much TV, and it's just not holding my interest enough anymore.
There you go. See. Oh, by the way, welcome to episode 592. It's November 23rd. It's a Monday. So
happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, this Thanksgiving weekend.
That's right.
Thanksgiving week. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys.
And you know what Friday is?
Black Friday.
No, it's Spanksgiving.
Spanksgiving?
Well, people get spanks.
Really? Don't people do that when it's a birthday? Oh, speaking of spanks. Happy birthday to Gary. Big shout out to Gary and also to Johnny Lee. It's his birthday this 27th.
Oh, that's right. His birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, he's in China right now, so he's not even listening to the show.
He's in China.
Yes, he comes back Thanksgiving Day, flies in that morning, and then that night he gets up and gets in line to do all the Black Friday, the early shopping crap. So
probably he can do that. Are you planning to line up anywhere?
Oh, hell no. I plan to stay as far away from stores this weekend as possible.
For me,
I don't want to go to the grocery store.
I'm going to click my way through. That's all I'm going to do. So, yeah.
There's only a couple people I'm buying Christmas for. So it ain't like I got that much to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's right. You have
most of that stuff I'm getting at the dollar store, so it's all good.
Okay, that's right. So you're you got my gift at the dollar store already,
right?
Okay, that's
budget. It's a budget. I got a budget.
I know some people who get registered. They're getting married and everything. They get registered at the Dollar General. No, anyway. So what did you do this last weekend, Ray?
Saturday night. Black Hawk Leather, which is the leather store here in Houston, had a 50 Shades demo at the Ripcord, which is quite busy and popular.
Did they just call it 50 Shades or?
Well, they do. They did that because a lot of people have read either the 50 Shades of Grey book or the movie, which is cute. It's a romance movie. It's an erotic romance movie, and it's about BDSM, but it's not all about that. It's more about a love story. So, but that introduced a lot of people to kink. So, to get more people interested that might be interested in it, that want to explore or try to figure out what they want to do with it and stuff, they did some demos. There was the vacuum cube. There was mummification. There was suspension. They had a violent wand.
Wow, it's like
my bedroom on the weekends.
That's right. La 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 la. I'm downstairs and Ray's upstairs with all those slapping sounds. So, okay, time to go to the bedroom. Anyway, so
whatever floats your boat.
Yeah. There's a Spank Fest. Is it like Spank Fest? Spank Fest does that a lot too. Lots of demos also.
Well,
Here
when
in,
they used to be a Spank Fest, I don't think there's a Spank Fest
there's no more
anymore.
Spank
No.
Fest in Houston. Hmm. Anyway, so
But
I
I always
guess
usually joke that Thanksgiving is Spanksgiving.
okay.
That come from my friend Kyle. Hey, Kyle.
Oh, okay. I count. Okay,
So
so uh, let's talk about the first word you said earlier, Ray.
catfishing.
Catfishing. What is catfishing?
Well, since you don't watch MTV, I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
Catfishing is a show that came on MTV that talks about people going online and creating other personas and impersonating people to get other people's attention or to try to seduce other people.
Really?
Really.
That's catfishing.
That's catfishing.
And that's
And basically they
authorized.
stand there and they'll like have this whole online life with this person and it's all a lie.
Oh my
There have been
God.
cases in it where they found out with this guy thought he was been talking to this girl for a year and he was so in love with her and he finally went to go try to find her and all this stuff. Find out she was a man.
Oh, all along?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, definition of catfish: lure someone into a relationship by means of a fictional online persona.
hmm
I see.
And there is a person here in Houston, whose name I will not name, that does this.
Okay.
And I've known they've been a little off for years now, but trying to be a bigger and better person, I said, I'll give them a benefit of the doubt. So I kind of became friends with them online.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they said, oh, well, here's my 2 subs. Talk to them. There were no 2 subs. It was this one person. He was acting like the 2 subs. And then this weekend, out of the blue, first of all, this really super hot guy hit me up,
Okay.
which usually does not happen.
It really happens. Right.
Really happens, yeah. And started talking to me about being a sub. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, do you have any more pictures? Because they're like, okay. So they sent me a whole bunch of pictures. So I was like, okay. Doesn't, because I'm all gun shy now. Then I was like, okay. And then they made the mistake of telling me they were going somewhere. And I was like, oh, okay, well, have a good trip. Look online today. They're still 20 miles away on their profile. And I'm like, they should be at least 100 miles away if where they said they were going to be.
I see.
So I asked them, I said, what are you doing? And they're saying, oh, we're playing Cards Against Humanity. I said, oh, we'll take a picture of whatever's in your hand. What cards you have in your hand? Well, they sent me a picture of a Cards Against Humanity, which I've seen on the internet before.
Oh, really?
So I'm just like, okay.
Downloaded somebody's.
So then I was like, okay, we're gonna nip this in the bud. I said, all right, take a picture of yourself next to a calendar with today's date and send it to me. Hadn't heard from them since. So stop that one.
So it's a good.
So I'm pretty sure it's this other person because they're the same distance as that other person is from me. I'm
trying to look for that image that you just saw.
I bet it's on there. I think I've seen it come across before. But so this person in Houston has just latched onto me and cannot help but catfish me.
Oh, wow.
And it's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And they're getting better because this time they had me fool a little bit longer than they did the last time. And last time I kind of knew it was going on. And I was just like, okay. And then I thought, well, maybe it's not. And then things started adding up and then they screwed up and made a mistake. And I was like, oh. So I just quit talking to them.
Okay. So it's good that you keep away from these guys. I'm trying to look for the same image.
We'll see if we can find it after the show.
I'm sure it is. But anyway, okay. So it's good that you were able to define what catfishing is.
So if this has happened to any of y'all, write in.
Or maybe you've done it before.
Or maybe you've done it to somebody else.
What's your technique?
I mean, I guess, if you're that fucking bored, get a hobby. And I don't think this is a hobby.
No, I don't think so.
But now I'm all paranoid. So if you hit me up online, if you find my profile, you better send me a picture with you and the day of the calendar, with the day's calendar circle next to you or something, so I know that you're for real.
Or today's newspaper.
That's right. Something like that. Something that can prove that you're an actual living being and you hadn't went out and like stole a whole bunch of pictures off somebody's online account somewhere and just sending them to me. So.
Yeah, okay. So far, I have not experienced catfishing. I'm not online all the time myself, so. Mm-hmm. Hell, I've not been on Facebook too much myself either.
Yeah.
So do you? Well, you're always on Facebook.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Okay.
Actually, at home, I'm rarely on Facebook. I'm usually on Facebook during my breaks at work. I'll take a break for 5 minutes, get on Facebook just to
Catch up
relieve
on people.
stress. Well, no, relieve stress so I don't kill somebody at work. So,
Oh, okay.
okay. Now on to our real topics. From our correspondent, Cesar.
Contributor.
Our contributor.
Cesar.
Correspondent. I'll call him a correspondent like we're a real news show or something.
Okay.
Uterine transplants may allow men to give birth within 5 years. Maynard, you can have a baby.
It's like Junior. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, after last week's announcement that the Cleveland Clinic is performing uterus transplant surgery on women who are born without a womb or whose uterus is diseased or malfunctioning, many began to wonder whether this medical advancement could be replicated in men. The simple answer is yes. Theoretically, men could receive a uterus, carry a baby to term, and give birth. But what really blew our minds is the day of the male pregnancy is closer than you think, reports Yahoo Health. My guess is 5 to 10 years away, maybe sooner, says Dr. Catherine Chung, director of the Fertility Preservation Program at the University of Southern California's Keck School of Medicine. Today, medical advances let transgender women adjust their biochemistry to suppress male and introduce female hormones, have breasts that can lactate, and obtain surgically constructed vaginas that include a neoclitoris, which allows sensation. So basically, wow. Caitlyn Jenner can really become a woman now and give birth.
No, it can be. Yeah, it can. She can't. Sorry, she.
Of course, she can't do this because she's voting Republican, and Republicans don't want her to have any control over her body. So there you go. Until now, however, a place to carry the fetus, a womb of its own, was a major missing link. Uterus transplants could conceivably surmount that hurdle. I bet just about every transgender person who is female will want to do it if it were covered by insurance, says Dr. Kristen McGinn at New Hope, PA, plastic surgeon who performs transgender surgeries on men and women and is a consultant to the new movie, The Danish Girl, about one of the first recipients of sex reassignment surgery.
So this is interesting because, like I said, it's going to be... Yeah, I actually heard from another nurse or a doctor a couple of weeks ago, who was telling me about they can now have... women can have transplants. Yeah, exactly what we just read, and that's great. I mean, for people who feel that who had hysterectomies,
yeah,
they do that, then they can.
But my question is, if you're a man and you do this, do you have to go on the hormone therapy to become a woman?
Yes, you have to go through the hormone therapy to support the.
Because what I see a lot of this in the straight community. If this ever happens, when men can have babies, women say, screw you. You go have the damn baby and carry it for 9 months.
Yeah, that's right. And then
if you're a gay couple and you want to have a kid and you want to have it naturally like that, then who goes and does all the surgery?
Well, they have to flip a coin, or the one who wants to. That really brings up a lot, because what happens is, how about maternity leave? There's always been paternity leaves, which is about a week or 2 weeks maybe. As for a woman, it's 3 months, right? So what's going to happen now if a man has that? What would be the maternity leave for that guy now? Interesting.
So,
and I can't. You have to be really.
So, Maynard, if this happens in 5 years,
no,
you're still young enough to have a baby.
No plans to have a baby.
Mike. You always wanted that little bouncing baby boy.
That's right. But no, probably not. But then it's good that people have options now. And even men would have the option now. And yeah, you're right. You're right about that argument about, what about you? Why wouldn't you carry the baby?
That's right. And if they're this close to doing uterus transplants, how long before they have an artificial uterus?
Why do you need an artificial?
So if you want to have a baby, you don't have to go have a woman involved at all. If you're a gay couple, and you could get an egg, and they can replace the DNA and mix the two DNAs.
Okay, there's something that was not mentioned here. Transplants, that's true, but it is also the same way as liver transplant or kidney transplant. There's a line. There's actually a what do you call this? A waiting list for this, because they're waiting for that donor a woman who would probably die in a car accident, they don't want to waste the uterus, and they can extract the uterus. It's going to be it's the same way
Yeah.
as
So
heart
go sign up for
transplant. So,
those organ donor cards.
yeah. So it's just interesting that they can do this now. Yeah, you just heard about it some time ago, and yeah, just like any other transplant. It would
But
give
I'll wait for the cloning version, so you can just like go mix your DNA. Say, okay, I want to have a child. I don't want to be involved with a woman. I'm not in a relationship, so I want to have a child. I can go to the center, donate my sperm. I can pick out a reasonably attractive person that I find attractive of the opposite sex that might have, or maybe the same sex that I think has good DNA that would mix good with mine, and hope for the best when the DNA mixes, and grow my baby and have them in 6 months or 2 weeks or
but you
however long
need a
it takes.
womb.
Well, that'll be artificial one.
So you're saying it's like the Matrix type. Everybody. I'm not saying they're batteries, but I'm saying the way they're put in a pod somewhere, and then it
Yeah,
would grow.
there's some kind of one. And
Yeah,
there's been a lot of sci-fi about that, about growing babies outside of the body. And like this is tackled in Hemlock Grove. That's one of the concepts they have in Hemlock Grove. They're growing a new body for somebody. There was one show where Michael Caine was a professor. His wife had died, and he was able to save her DNA, and had actually started growing a fetus at his lab. But it was a love story between a girl and another guy, and it was kind of like this big love wrapped up. And I'm trying to remember what the name of that is, but I always thought that was an awesome movie. That if they could really do that.
It's not Hemlock Grove. It's got Michael Caine.
It's got Michael Caine in it. This is something else. Yeah, this is a much older movie, like maybe 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago.
Okay.
But it's like a romance. And it was him, and he had a female student and a male student, and the two younger kids were in love. But they were working with him to try to recreate his wife, because she'd either died of cancer or in a car wreck or something. So he couldn't let go of her. So he was trying to bring her back from the dead by cloning her.
Wow.
So it's quite interesting. But then you get in that whole thing, is it still the same person if you clone them? Because they have different experiences and different,
probably,
how much memory is genetic and how much memory is not.
Yeah, there's got to be a little bit. I don't know. Definitely not, because they would be growing up in different.
And he was already in his 50s or 60s. So by the time this woman got old enough, he'd been way old. He'd probably been dead by the time, unless he could accelerate the growth to make her a full-grown human.
Or would be the reverse. Now he leaves his semen for to be cloned. Oh, that's right. That's the way that's the way to do it. He should just clone himself too. So by the time they both grow up, then they can somewhat be together.
Well, then you get all Aeon flexing.
Is that what Aeon Flux is? That's what we
were
watching.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it last night. Oh, you guys yesterday when you guys were.
Well, yeah, that's the whole premise. We just watched it because that's what was on TV the other day. So.
Okay. Well, anyway, so what do you guys think? Do you guys want to have a uterus transplanted in your body? Or if you're a gay couple, maybe one of you can flip a coin and decide, okay, you carry the baby for 9 months. Just so many questions. There's so many things so many laws that would change if you ever do that. Because now and of course, there's going to be like, the religious right is going to be like abomination. If it's going to be... Well, the mere fact that you can transplant, they would think that's abomination. Yeah. What more if you transplant the uterus to a guy? So.
But my question is, do they transplant everything, the ovaries and everything?
No, just the uterus.
Just the uterus.
It just needs to have It just needs
to have
a sac.
They're still having to get eggs donated that they take out the DNA and remix it in a.
Yeah, it's still a test tube baby, then insert in the uterus, but then who would house the uterus? Mm-hmm. It just needs to attach to a wall, to a membrane.
I want to say in the Dune series, there's a whole thing about a culture that you never see any of their women, but that's because they have all their women genetically engineered to produce offspring and other organic parts and crap and stuff like that. It's very weird.
They got rid of women?
Kinda.
Oh my goodness.
But they turned them into like manufacturing bioorganisms.
Oh, really?
That's it was really, and I want to say it was in the Dune series, and it was like later in the series because I read it for so long, but it was a while. But that was like back in the 90s. So
anyway, let's move on.
I'll take this first one.
Okay, go ahead.
I told you, bitches, Glenn wasn't dead.
Yep.
Okay, that's
kind of
all
thought so too. Glenn. Oh yeah, spoilers, guys. Well, anyway. Everybody speculated for 4 weeks what happened to Glenn in Walking Dead. We're talking about Walking Dead. If you guys are watching Walking Dead, yeah. Spoiler alert. Yes, Glenn is alive. Okay, so Whoop they do. Well, should we say something in the comic book?
Well, we've already talked about that in the comic book. He doesn't die that way.
Yeah.
He has a very
Well, he's not dead.
well. He's not dead. Well, in the comic book, he is, but how he dies is a big. It's a big thing in the story, but it's also kind of an uneventful thing in the story.
Yep.
That involves a certain person that has not appeared yet.
It will come up probably in January. So we're waiting for January.
We'll see.
For it to show.
We'll see if it's by the end of this season, because there's a bunch of other stuff that happens before that.
Yeah.
Because there's the other colony.
Community.
Community.
Another community.
That I think was hinted at last week's episode with
it's all over the news anyway.
With Daryl. So anyway.
All right. So next is actually Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones will be back in April, so we have to wait a long, long time.
Yeah, but HBO just released the first images of it today, and if you haven't seen the poster, it's basically Jon Snow with blood all over his face.
Does this mean he's alive?
I think Jon Snow's alive.
They're gonna make him live. They're gonna resurrect him.
Well, I think the redheaded chick saves his ass.
Yeah, probably.
I think there's something about her that she saw in him, because I think he's what's his name's sons. Baratheon, one of Baratheon's sons.
Okay. All right. So what do you guys think? Are you guys excited about Game of Thrones?
I know I am.
You are.
The other one I'm going to miss is Stars, and I guess I'll have to find it online somewhere.
Stars.
The show on Stars. My mind just went blank. The Scottish show. Not Highlander.
Highlander.
Highlanders Eat. No. Crap, what's the damn name of the show that comes on Stars?
Is it sci-fi?
It's the one where the chick moves through time. And she got sent back to the 1800s with the dude.
iZombie.
No.
Okay. What is it?
What is that damn show's name? I can't remember.
Anyway, we
y'all
can't
know.
end with that right now. Okay. So let's just talk about that Game of Thrones coming up in April. And Glenn is back. He's not dead. And after this coming Sunday's episode of Walking Dead, it's going to be the pre-season. Was it the mid-season?
The mid-season finale. So, and we won't see him again until probably February.
January. I think January will start up again. Or March. January.
Yeah, I think she's a late January, early February, depending on what's going on.
All right. I'll look forward to it. It's time for the gay, the geek, and the bizarre.
Just one thing before we start.
All right.
If you're listening to the first part of the show, it's Outlander. We were talking about the show that was on Stars that I got to figure out how to get to because we don't have Stars anymore, but it's Outlander.
Oh, okay.
It's where the chick travels back in time to
Well, I showed you
Scotland.
that. I Googled it.
Well, you Google it, so thank you, Maynard.
Okay.
So, now on to the gay, the geek, and bizarre.
All right. Okay. So, why do you pick these hate crimes?
Because this shit's still happening.
Yeah, it's 2015. It's still.
I mean, last week a gay guy was beat to death here in Houston.
And left Dallas.
No, that was here in Houston.
Oh, that's right.
In Montgomery County, just northwest of here.
God, it still happens. After 12 violent anti-gay hate crimes, Dallas police finally put neighborhood on lockdown.
It took 12 people to get beat up for them to do something.
Yeah.
That's why I'm talking about this stuff, so people realize this shit's still going on.
Must be in Montrose, not Throckmorton area. No, wait, Cedar Springs.
Cedar Springs.
Probably Cedar Springs. A neighborhood in Dallas has been put on police lockdown after a dozen violent hate crimes against gay men and several robberies were reported. Oh, it's Oaklawn neighborhood. The city's Oaklawn neighborhood has been a frightening uptick has seen a frightening uptick in anti-gay bashings in the recent months. Last Thursday, Jeffrey Hubbard became at least the 12th victim in 3 months of an anti-gay hate crime when he was bashed in the skull with a rock while walking to a friend's house. He sustained a temporal bone fracture that required several stitches to his head. Survivors have been beaten with bats, stabbed with box cutters, pistol whipped, and pummeled with fists. Rally for Change, a local organization who has been demanding increased police presence and better protection in the area for months, said in a statement. In several of these attacks, homophobic language has been used by the assailants. So this is in Dallas, and can you believe that this is still happening? And it's
yes, I can believe it's still happening.
Even
we got all these people refusing Syrian refugees because they think they're all terrorists. So
yeah, And these are the same people, I
It's
guess.
just ignorant bullshit. So
Mhm. So yeah, I mean, these are people who are, these are really just, it's really a hate crime. So what can I say? They're really just out there trying to, I don't know what they're trying to prove. Still, everything's becoming legal. Gay marriage is in, and equality is is inevitable. Hopefully, not after Hero. What happened to Houston a couple of weeks ago? But these people are still, I think they should have a special kind of um of punishment for them. I don't know, probably
well,
gangbang
if
to death or something.
they get prosecuted with a hate crime, then it's a federal crime and not a state crime, if I remember correctly.
And would it be the punishment is harsher or
Yes.
longer? Like,
Yes. It's a little more severe. So I think that's the way the law is written for hate crimes. So not sure. Okay, we got a second gay tonight, which I thought was very interesting. And since I'm on PrEP, I figured we'd talk about it. Local study explores PrEP adherence. The Journal of American Medical Association published the results this week of a study that analyzed the real-world use of pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, for HIV prevention. Whitman Walker Health announced the form of PrEP involved in the study was the daily anti-HIV pill called Truvada, which is taken orally. The study assessed medication adherence, sexual behaviors of the incidence of STIs and HIV infection in the men who have sex with men and transgender women. 100 of the 557 total recipients were enrolled at the study at Whitman Walker Health in Washington. Among the findings, between 80 and 86% of the participants were taking 4 or more pills of medication a week, indicating a strong adherence and protection from acquiring HIV. Now, in theory, you're supposed to take 1 pill a day. You're supposed to be taking 7 pills a week.
Actually, remember when we were talking to Ted back at the Legacy Community Health? He was saying that in different places, the other countries, for a week, they try to control, like 4 a week would do. Maybe the four at a time, and then they skip a day, and then 4 day, because it is expensive. It is
Yes.
expensive,
So-
so they try to do the same.
But this is saying that that's okay as long as you take them 4 days a week, in theory. So
Oh, one more thing that Ted said also: 2 days before sex, at some point it was acceptable, but of course that's risky. Of course,
yeah,
it's
very
best really to take it every day. It's
Yeah.
just that in other countries, like I said, they're trying to minimize. They're trying to. Anyway, go ahead.
do the cost. Those who reported at least 2 condomless anal sex partners in the last 3 months were more likely to adhere to the medication than those who were less vulnerable to HIV infection. STI incidence did not increase over time among study participants. So, just because they were out barebacking, the increase of sexually transmitted diseases such as syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes did not increase or decrease. So it stayed about the same, which means
There's no effect at all. Or, I mean, of
that
course.
people are just as responsible as they usually are.
Okay.
So, 2 individuals in the study became HIV positive. An adherence test showed that they had drug levels consistent with taking fewer than 2 doses per week of Truvada. So they were not taking it like they were supposed to.
Yeah. So I don't know if this part of the study. They're just
Well,
trying
no,
to risk it.
they go in and take blood tests, and they can tell, just like your blood sugar level, they can tell how much drugs in your system.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what I'm saying is, I'm not. We're not sure if they're really irresponsible or was it part of the test. But then it would be bad that if it's
Well, I
part of
don't
the
think
test.
they would be giving somebody something there. I think it was the fact that these people didn't take the Truvada medication like they were supposed to.
So they're really irresponsible.
Responsible, yes.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
Because if it's part of the test, that's going to be a bad
No,
test.
that would be intentional infection.
Yeah, I know.
And that would be a big lawsuit. So,
Yeah.
Megan Coleman, director of community research and nurse practitioner at Whitman Walker Health, was the principal investigator on the study. Our study adds that the growing body of evidence that PrEP is an incredibly important tool in the fight against HIV. Coleman said that in a press release, it works in the real world among real people. And encouragingly, our study found that among those whose behaviors make them the most vulnerable to HIV infection, they were most adherent to the PrEP and were therefore protected from HIV acquisition. What we need to know now is to ensure that the communities that would benefit from PrEP the most, particularly younger gay and bisexual men of color and transgender people, have access to it and the focus of outreach efforts.
See, they're saying that this is going to be beneficial also for for young
Yeah.
gay men and bisexual,
Yeah.
but also women can have this too, or
Yeah.
sex workers.
Sex workers. But I'm also wondering if maybe after another year or two, they might come back and say, okay, the first month you're on PrEP, you have to take it every day. And then after that, you can take 4 doses a week. And it'll keep your protection in there.
Yeah, you just need to build up your immune system
Yeah.
on that one, or your not really immune system, but your
But the drug in
the
your
drug
system.
in your system.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah. It's interesting that that they're actually doing these studies right now.
Yeah.
What I don't like though was that story that we had before. Remember, a guy was they canceled his insurance or something because he was on PrEP, because they simply assumed that you're on Truvada. That means you're HIV positive. I guess doctors or even insurance companies are not informed on how this works.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is that a major insurance company, or was that some little insurance mom and pop insurance company that did that? I mean, it all depends on where it was and stuff like that. Because I don't think it gave all those details when we talked about it in the article who the insurance company was.
I think it's like Omaha or something. Omaha Insurance, something like that.
So it'll be interesting. It also depends on what the government steps in and eventually says if we get universal health care. So
yeah, what if
with that with the Obamacare and stuff happens, how it's covered, what's covered, and everything like that. So I mean, so far my coverage has been pretty good. All I've had to do is pay for additional blood work, which really hasn't been that bad. So but we'll see. I just went and had my second round of tests, so we'll see what those.
How long in between?
It's been my 30-day mark, so I'm over, because they do it first at 30 days, and then if you're doing good, they push it out and test you in like 2 to 3 months. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to my 3 months now, so I don't have to worry about it for another 3 months.
All right. Good for you.
So
awesome.
Okay,
let's go to the geek. Okay, this is a topic that Ray just brought up, and then I looked it up, and then wow, this is something affordable. Okay, LEO Motors 3-wheeler, 84 miles per gallon for the price of a decade-old Corolla. Yeah, that's right, because I guess a 10-year-old Corolla would cost this much now. It's really cheap, and it's a nice car. I'll probably put this on the website so you could see how it looks like. So it's that manufacturers are offering fuel economy specials of existing compact and subcompact non-hybridized models. Not only does such a concept improve mileage without compromising driving dynamics by adding heavy batteries and electric motors, but they're cheap when compared to their gas-electric brethren too. That's why we're intrigued by LEO Motors, a startup promising a brand new fuel miser for the cost of a decade-old Toyota Corolla. So, okay, it costs about $6,800. You can have yourself an LEO 3-wheeler, a 2-seat 3-wheeler powered by a 900cc 3-cylinder that's estimated to deliver 84 miles per gallon on the highway. LEO says that its 8-gallon fuel tank is enough to get one of its cars from Detroit to New York, some 650 miles without refueling. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, if you, how far is your work? 30 miles from here?
Actually, I think it's only like 26 miles from here.
26 miles. So if you have one of these, and
I'd only have to fill up every 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, and it's
I don't know, but this is city driving, so it's a lot of stop and start. But still, it should, even if I got 70 miles to the gallon, it will still be much better than the 28 miles to a gallon I'm getting now.
Yeah.
So, and the good thing about these cars is more younger people that couldn't afford access to transportation can afford something now.
Yeah, it's a 2-seater though. It's bigger, but then it's just small. It can fit anywhere, right? Well,
you got room for you and your bitch in the back seat. That's all you really need. This is not a family car.
It's not a family
car. But
I
was talking to Mary because I was like, when these come out, I might buy one. That way, if I decide to live further out, I could just use this to drive back and forth to work, and then still have my other car for non-work use. I mean, driving back and forth.
Yeah. So I was watching the video on this one, and it's a prototype that the guy was driving, and it was. I could probably hear it also that the suspension is really not good. Well, of course, it's a prototype. You don't concentrate on those things. You just need to make the proof of concept of the car, and they were able to drive around with it, and it's pretty. It looks smooth. It has the usual uh, technologies of auxiliary power, USB. It's weird about it. I was telling you when you were upstairs. There's no rear view mirror because it's only you sit down and there's only space for yourself in just one chair.
It's basically a 3-wheel motorcycle with a canopy on it.
Canopy. There's no canopy. It's really just a canopy.
Yeah, like a canopy, like in an airplane, where you sit down and you're one seat and you pull the canopy over you and you're in there. There's no.
It's a side door.
Yeah, it's a side door, but I mean, it's just like you're in a pod.
Yeah,
canopy,
it is pretty much like that. So, like I said, there's no rear view mirror. You have to rely on your side mirrors, and they intend to have, rear camera, so you could at least when you back up. It's kind of weird. You're driving around the beach. I'm sure you're gonna keep looking up, but you can't. There's nothing. There's none there. You have to look at your side mirrors. I mean, for short distances, if you work like me, I work about 9 miles from here. So if you drive that, the gas tank would last me maybe a month or something.
Yeah.
So it'd be great. It's kind of weird though to carry around some friends. Hey,
well, that's the whole point. This car is not meant to carry around a bunch of people. How often do you carry around more than one other person?
Probably once or twice a week, maybe.
Okay.
If we go for Mexican food like today.
Yes, but we wouldn't take the Elo for that. We would take a regular car.
Why?
Huh?
Why? Because it's near.
Well, no, because that's what you have a regular car for bigger, for more people.
Honestly, okay.
I mean, I'm looking at this as it's cheap. If I want to move outside of Houston further and be able to afford a decent house, which I can't afford in Houston right now, based on the amount of money I'm making, what the cost of housing is in Houston now. So the only way I'm going to be able to afford a house is move further out. So if I want to move further out, I don't carpool. There's nobody to carpool with. This is a great option.
Yep.
Or if I'm just a kid going to college and stuff, it ain't like you need to have a whole bunch of.
But how about those times when, hey, let's go to my car, and maybe we could do something.
That you can always work that out. There's always a way to work that out.
Yeah,
I'm sure that front seat can be set up so it can recline.
It can recline.
Trust me, there's always a way to have sex and something. It will get figured out if you want it bad enough.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so let us know. We'll put the links on the website and let us know how do you like it. I mean, I like it. I mean, I would probably buy it because
they also have an interesting pricing concept, and I forgot now because I read it so long ago. But it was like you could pay for the car every time you bought gas. That when you put gas in your car, it would double it and pay that towards the car. So if you bought $20 worth of gas, it'd pull $40 out of your checking account, and that extra $20 will get put towards your car payment.
Oh, okay.
Or and they've got Pep Boys online to do all the oil changes and maintain them and stuff. Mm-hmm. And if I remember correctly, the Saturn plant that got closed in Kentucky, the people that are doing this were able to get their hands on that plant and are retooling it to be able to produce these. Because this came out of a competition about we want an American car that's inexpensive, made out of 90% of American parts, fuel efficient, and something that somebody would want to drive.
Yeah, actually, it's not bad. It's not really bad. It's almost like spaceship like to me. What about the concerns about safety though? They do say the way if you ever get rear-ended, they designed the rear wheel, the axle at the back to buckle in sideways, so it would reduce the impact from the back. They did a lot of studies, a lot of engineering on how to to maintain a high level of security and safety on it. So I'm looking forward to this.
Well, it's like any small car. If you get hit at high speed, there's a little chance you're going to survive anyhow. So it ain't much different than this.
Yeah.
But I mean, any accident you get in, I mean, most accidents are either big, high-speed fatal crashes or fender benders. Mm-hmm. So, of course, now fender bender, this thing might be interesting to see what the insurance is going to be on it. Because if somebody bumps you, they're hitting your rear tire and screwing everything up. So does it totally replace the whole thing, or insurance totally write off the whole thing? Or do you cover it under motorcycle insurance, or is it car insurance? Which is it?
Well, I think it's going to be considered as a car. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see.
So it'll be interesting to see when this comes out. But I
next
think
year, 2016.
Yeah, but they got pushed out from 2015 to 2016 because of the plant retooling, I think. So anyway, now on to the bizarre.
Can I take this? This is my
Okay,
this is
this
one
is
of my
all
peeps.
you. This is your peeps.
One of my peeps. Not really. I'm not Vietnamese. Anyway, so the guy with super unfortunate name posts hilarious rant because Facebook keeps disabling his account. Yes, hopefully this man never gets arrested because his name can't be said on the news. Yes, only we can say it here in the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Times of India reported on a Vietnamese Australian man who has spoken out about Facebook consistently. Apparently, Bich's name is correctly pronounced Phuc Dat Bich. Phuc Dat Bich. But it seems suspect to the uninitiated. Apparently, it's a constant source of frustration for the 23-year-old, despite the fact that, judging from his Facebook photos, he doesn't take himself too seriously. So the spelling is Phuc and Dat and then Bich. So it's really Phuc Dat Bich. So that's his name.
Phuc Dat Bich.
Phuc Dat Bich, or really Phuc Dat Bich. So I find it amusing. I find
This is him. This is actually.
this is what he was saying.
Yeah.
I find it highly irritating the fact that nobody seems to believe me when I say that my full legal name is how you see it. Phuc Dat Bich. I've been accused of using a false and misleading name, of which I find very offensive. Is it because I'm Asian?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
I guess. Great. Having my Facebook shut down multiple times and forced to change my name to my real name. So just to put it out there, my name, sincerely, Phuc Dat Bich. So that's his name. So, anyway, I probably won't go out of the house also if that's my name. I mean, yeah. Or it could be Elvis.
Oh, no, I thought it was hilarious that the guy's real name was Phuc Dat Bich.
Phuc Dat Bich. Phuc
So-
Dat Bich. Actually, the way he pronounces is Phuc Dat Bich.
So anyway,
But then, of course, Phuc Dat
Asian
Bich.
people problems.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Our second bizarre this week, and this is a long article, but I'm gonna try to read it because it's just funny as hell. My boyfriend and I had our first threesome with a robot, and here's what's happened.
Okay.
Last weekend, I had a threesome with my boyfriend and a robot. Yes, a robot. Let me just say, this bad boy bot can give a mean blowjob. That is, until you stick two dicks inside, which we did.
No.
But let me first tell you how we ended up in bed with a robot, or as I like to call him, Jack. First thing I thought when I heard about this blowjob robot, are you serious? I don't remember seeing that in Back to the Future. Yes, here it is. The Auto Blow 2, the future of male masturbation in your hands, or as I like to call him, Jack. Jack has the ability to elevate your baits and sessions from the prehistoric hand tug to the NCSA blowjob on demand. No drinks or hookup apps required. The concept is simple. A real skin-like sleeve inside a casing that houses a motor. Then 3 beads go up and down really fast on the sleeve and on your cock. I had some buzz about this guy on Instagram and was instantly intrigued. Finally, a blowjob for when you don't want to deal with the person attached to the mouth. What's not to love? And you should see the video, mate. And you have to look on the link.
Oh my God, there's a video.
There's a video you'll have to post on this too. That's an advertisement for the what you call it. So when my editor asked if I wanted to try it, I got an idea. My boyfriend David and I have been together for a year now, and sex is getting old. Only after a year, really? Don't get me wrong, he's the best sex I've ever had, all 9 inches, but I'm afraid that he's getting bored or something. Last time we tried a threesome, it didn't go so well. My friend Alex from Chicago recently broke up with his boyfriend and asked to stay with us for a few days. He has a really nice ass, which my boyfriend loves, and I know Alex would do it. I had a feeling something was going to happen. One night we had a few drinks and got close, but nothing happened. David, my boyfriend, says that inviting another person is complicated, which I can understand. But what about a robot? The Auto Blow 2 waits seductively. Fast forward a couple of hours, and my beau and I are naked in bed as always. We laughed a bit getting used to it. It's hard to believe that we're having a threesome with R2-D2. Alas, we get to the groove and figure out what works for best of us. Use your imagination, but we found a few positions that work well for us. The main obstacles are size and noise. Despite that, the Auto Blow 2 is actually pretty damn good. The dial gives you total control of how fast it strokes your cock. We both think the fastest was the best. It's seriously like a blowjob from someone who doesn't complain about their jaw hurting. Sounds like me. Who can deep throat and won't get emotionally attached or leave you with any medical surprises. My favorite position was on my back getting fucked while Jack sucked my dick on high speed. David also loved it when I ate his hole while Jack sucked his dick. Double penetration is our next move. My dude was lying on his back. He slides it in. I mount him and then slide in. Nice. Very nice. It feels good to be close to the man you love. Our cocks were squished together tight inside the warm flesh, leaving nothing could be better. Does 9 inches plus 6 inches make 15 inches? No, that's a mouthful.
Oh, come on.
Jack made a serious effort to
bad.
suck both of us off at once, and you know how hard that can be. He made it about halfway through before shutting off automatically. We tried a second and third time with no success. It turns out Jack can only take one dick at a time. Amateur.
Yeah, but the looks of it, can only fit one dick at a time.
Yeah, I mean, especially a Jack sleeve, but it's got a motor on it. So it turns out Jack can only take one dick at a time. Can you blame him? Eventually, we turned Jack off, pun intended, and let him watch from my gym bag. Blowjob party of one. Let's be real. A threesome is fun, but Auto Blow 2 is designed for one man at a time. Instead of spitting on my hand for usual, I let Jack do all the work. My first real test, can Jack get me hard? Oh my, yes he can. I stuffed my softy inside, turned it on in no time. I felt the blood pumping strong, medium setting. So it also goes into talking about all the stuff he did with Jack and everything, but it's a very funny article, and we'll post the link so you can go read it all.
Yeah, it's got, so
here's the review.
Go ahead.
Here's the review. Solo play A+. Jack is the ultimate upgrade to your jerk sessions. Get a blowjob without putting a sweat, making a mess, or picking up someone from the bar. Partner play B-. If you're looking for something for you and your partner, this is truly a novelty toy that heats things up quick for a few minutes. But in the end, nothing beats the real deal. And that's a good thing. The day a robot trumps human in any sexual intercourse, we'll have a larger issue at hand. Pros. Blowjobs for life. It feels like the real thing. Easy to clean up, sturdy. Cons. Can't take 2 dicks. Noise. Size. Can't take 2 dicks. So there's your review of Auto Blow 2. So if anybody would like to purchase one from me for Christmas, I would gladly take one.
Auto Blow 2. So it's basically, if you can think of it,
and it's rechargeable.
It's like a flashlight, the inside of a flashlight, and the one they are showing here on the video is that it's a Vine video, I think. It's a lip. It's a lips.
They got 3 different things that you can buy.
I'm sure they have ass,
and different size. Yeah,
ass, lips, and vagina. Anyway, so they have here the lips. Anyway, and then there's these. The sleeve inside it, outside of it are beads that go up and down, and so I guess it would feel good if you are thick, because it
they have different size things for
let me see,
to help with people that are thickly challenged.
I don't know, thickly challenged is a problem, but if you're thin, okay, see,
oh yeah.
So it's the Auto Blow 2. What do you guys think?
Nice cock.
Nice butt.
So
anyway, okay. Auto Blow 2. The first time I've heard of it. It's really just an enhanced.
And like I said, if anybody wants to buy me one for Christmas, that would be greatly appreciated.
It's enhanced.
Our end of the show gift. Since we are ending BearPodcast at episode 600, it would be a great parting gift from our fans for me and Maynard both to get an Auto Blow 2.
That'd be great. Thank you, Ray, for reminding us about it. Okay, so it'd be good to hear from you guys. If you guys send us voice messages and emails and everything about, we're ending a 10-year show, and so episode 600. Sometime in January.
Yep, sometime in January.
Okay.
And we're going to be taking some days off for Christmas and stuff too, so it might push out the middle of January. But you can email us at show@BearPodcast. Email us comments and stuff about what's going on that you've enjoyed over the last 10 years about the show.
Yep. And you can also call the voicemail line at 206-222-2327. That's 206-222-BEAR. Leave us a voice message and play the show. What a switch!
I know.
Good. Wow. After years of Ray saying the phone number, we kind of switched right there. Wow. That's impromptu.
Reverse.
What is it? Mask for mask. I'm verse. Are you mask? Anyway, okay. So listen to the show on Bear Radio Network and also Stitcher Radio. You can also subscribe via iTunes, YouTube, and Vimeo. And you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Yeah, facebook.com/BearPodcast and twitter.com/BearPodcast. Wow, I can't believe it's the last few days I'm going to say those words. And go to the official website at BearPodcast.com. Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Bear Podcast. And oops and many hugs.
Woof, what a bear. Podcast your ass.